Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivanidhari Janavalabha Girivanidhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivanidhari Janavalabha Yasodanandana Vrajagana Ranjana Nana Vrajagana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vrajagana Ranjana Nana Vrajagana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivanidhari Janavalabha Girivanidhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivanidhari Janavalabha Girivanidhari Yasodanandana Vrajagana Ranjana Nana Vrajagana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vrajagana Ranjana Nandana Vrajagana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Bhagavacharya Satarya Satashishi Maha's Divine Grace H.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Anant Gauda Vaishnavinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki ISKCON Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Ganga Mai Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakta Devi Ki Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. So we're continuing our reading on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we're at Madhya Lila, chapter 9. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travels to the holy places, and we're on text 245. And Lord Chaitanya's got to Udupi. Text 245. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next traveled at Udupi, the place of Madhvacharya, where the philosophers known as Tattvavadis resided. There he saw the deity of Lord Krishna and became mad with ecstasy. Purport. Sripad Madhvacharya took his birth near Udupi, which is situated in the South Kannada district of South India, just west of Sahyadri. This is the chief city of the South Kannada province and is near the city of Mangalore, which is situated to the south of Udupi. Near the city of Udupi is a place called Pajaka Kshetra, where Madhvacharya took his birth in Sivali Brahmana dynasty as the son of Madhyagena Bhatt. In the year 1040, Sakarab, AD 1118. According to some, he was born in the year 1160, Sakadbata, AD 1238. That's about a 100-year difference. In his childhood, Madhvacharya was known as Vasudev, and there are some wonderful stories surrounding him. It is said that once, when his father had piled up many debts, Madhvacharya converted tamarind seeds into actual coins to pay them off. When he was 5 years old, he was offered the sacred thread. A demon named Maniman lived near his abode in the form of a snake, and at the age of 5, Madhvacharya killed that snake with the toe of his left foot. When his mother was very much disturbed, he would appear before her in one jump. He was a great scholar, even in childhood, and although his father did not agree, he accepted sannyas at the age of 12. Upon receiving sannyas from Achyuta Prakash, he received the name Purna Paranja Tirtha. After traveling all over India, he finally discussed scriptures with Vijayasankara, the exalted leader of Sringeri Math. Vijayasankara was actually diminished in the presence of Madhvacharya. Accompanied by Satya Tirtha, Madhvacharya went to Badarikshama. It was there that he met Vyasadeva and explained his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita before him. Thus became a great scholar by studying before Vyasadeva. By the time he came to Ananda Math from Badarikshama, Madhvacharya had finished his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. His companion, Satya Tirtha, wrote down the entire commentary. When Madhvacharya returned from Badarikshama, he went to Ganjama, which is on the bank of the river Godavari. There he met with two learned scholars named Sobhana Bhatt and Swami Shastri. Later, these scholars became known in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya as Padmanabha Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha. When he returned to Udupi, he would sometimes bathe in the ocean. On such an occasion, he composed a prayer in 5 chapters. Once, while sitting beside the sea engrossed in meditation upon Lord Krishna, he saw that a large boat containing goods for Dwarka was in danger. He gave some signs by which the boat could approach the shore, and it was saved. The owners of the boat wanted to give him a present, and at that time Madhvacharya agreed to take some gopi chandan. He received a big lump of gopi chandan, and as it was being brought to him, it broke apart and revealed a large deity of Lord Krishna. The deity had a stick in his hand and a lump of food in the other. As soon as Madhvacharya received the deity of Krishna in this way, he composed a prayer. The deity, we're trying to remember this right here. He composed a prayer. It's pretty much standard etiquette for devotees. When you see Krishna, you say something. And Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is always reminding us of this. When the curtains open up, we sing a prayer. We always say something. Obviously, Prabhupada laid it all out for us so we don't have to be completely dumbfounded when the curtains open up. But we have it planned out. What we say in the morning during Artik, later in the day, so prayers in the evening. So we have to, it's set up for us. This is proper etiquette. The deity was so heavy that not even 30 people could lift it. Yet Madhvacharya personally brought this deity to Udupi. 8 of Madhvacharya's sannyas disciples became directors of his 8 monasteries. Worship of Lord Krishna's deity is still going on in Udupi according to the plans Madhvacharya established. Madhvacharya then, for the second time, visited Radharakshama while he was passing through Maharashtra. The local king was digging in a big lake for the public benefit. As Madhvacharya passed through the area with his disciples, he was also obliged to help in the excavation. After some time, when Madhvacharya visited the king, he engaged the king in that work and departed with his disciples. Often, in the province of Ganga Pradesh, there were fights between Hindus and Muslims. The Hindus were on the bank of the river and the Muslims on the other side. Due to the community tension, no boat was available for crossing the river. The Muslim soldiers were always stopping passengers on the other side, but Madhvacharya did not care for these soldiers. He crossed the river anyway, and when he met the soldiers on the other side, he was brought before the king. The Muslim king was so pleased with him that he wanted to give him a kingdom and some money. But Madhvacharya refused. While walking on the road, he was attacked by some dacoits, but by his bodily strength, he killed them all. It's not, I guess, not an ordinary sannyasi. He probably knew all the arts of fighting. When his companion Satyatirtha was attacked by a tiger, Madhvacharya separated them by virtue of his great strength. When he met Vasudeva, he received from him the Shalagram Shila known as Astamurti. After this, he summarized the Mahabharata. Madhvacharya's devotion to the Lord and his erudite scholarship became known throughout India. Consequently, the owners of the Sringeri Mat, established by Sankaracharya, became a little perturbed. At that time, the followers of Sankaracharya were afraid of Madhvacharya's rising power, and they began to tease Madhvacharya's disciples in many ways. There was even an attempt to prove that the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya was not in line with the Vedic principles. Some people actually have done this with Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta. This is just envious people. A person named Pundarik Puri, a follower of Madhva philosophy of Sankaracharya, came before Madhvacharya to discuss the Shastras. It is said that all of Madhvacharya's books were taken away, but later they were found with the help of King Jayashima, ruler of Kulma. In discussion with Pundarik Puri, Pundarik Puri was defeated by Madhvacharya, a great personality named Trivikramacharya, who was a resident of Vishnu Mangala, became Madhvacharya's disciple, and his son later became Narayanacharya, the composer of Sri Madhva Vijaya. After the death of Trivikramacharya, the younger brother of Narayanacharya took sannyas and later became known as Vishnu Tirtha. It is reputed that there is no limit to the bodily strength of Purna Pranja, Madhvacharya. There was a person named Kadanjari, who was famed for possessing the strength of 30 men. Madhvacharya placed the big toe of his foot upon the ground and asked the man to separate it from the ground. But the great strong man could not do so even after great effort. Madhvacharya passed from this material world at the age of 80 while writing a commentary on the Aitreya Upanishad. For further information about Madhvacharya, one should read Madhva Vijaya by Narayanacharya. So we have a little bit more on this. So the Acharyas of the Madhva Sampradaya established Udupi as the chief sinner, and the monastery there was known as Uttaradi Mat. A list of the different sinners of the Madhvacharya Sampradaya can be found at Udupi. And their Mat commanders are, and these are listed, there's 45 here, so it's like history. It's got these things are being documented. So 1, Vishnu Tirtha Sodamat. 2, Janardana Tirtha Krishnapura Mat. 3, Vamana Tirtha Karuna Mat. 4, Nrsinga Tirtha Adamara Mat. 5, Upendra Tirtha Putungi Mat. 6, Ram Tirtha Sarura Mat. 7, Rishikesh Tirtha Palimara Mat. And 8, Abhoksha Tirtha Pejavara Mat. The disciplic succession of Madhvacharya Sampradaya is as follows. The dates are those of birth in the Saktab era or Christian era dates. For Christian era dates, add 78 years. So Hamsa Paramatma, Chatur Mukta Brahma, Sanadkari, Juvas, Jananidhi, Gora Vahana, Kavivalya Tirtha, Janesa Tirtha, Para Tirtha, Satya Prajan Tirtha, Achuta Prekeshacharya Tirtha, Sri Madhvacharya, 1040 Saka, and then there was no dates previously, but now they put in the dates here. Padmanath, 1120, Narhari, 1127, Madhva, 1136, Adhokshya, 1159, Jayatirtha, 1167, Vijayatirtha, 1190, Kavidra, 1255, Vagisha, 1261, Ramachandra, 1269, Vijayanidhi, 1298, Sri Raghunath, 1366, Rayavara, who spoke, was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 1422. Raghunath, Raghumata, 1471. Vedavyas, 1517. Vijayadishya, 1541. Vedanidhi, 1553. Satyavarta, 1557. Satyanidhi, 1560. Satyanath, 1582. Satyabhinava, 1595. Satyapurna, 1628. Satyavidya, 1628. 1648. Satyapriya, 1659. Satyabodha, 1666. Satyasananda, 1705. Satyavara, 1716. Satyadharma, 1719. Satyasankalpa, 1752. Satyasantuksa, 1763. Satya Paranya, 1763, two of them the same year. And Satya Kama, 1785. Satya Yesha, 1793. Satya Parakrama, 1794. Satya Dhira, 1801. And Satya Dhira Tirtha, 1808. So after the 16 Acharya, Vijay Dhiraj Tirtha, there's another disciplic succession, including Rajendra Tirtha, 1254, Vijaya Raja Purusottama, Sudar Ramaya, and Vyas Rai, 1470 to 1520. The 19th Acharya, Ramachandra Tirtha, had another disciplic succession, including Vidu Bindra, 1218, Jimamitra, 1348, Raghuvanandana, Surendra, Vijendra, Suhidra, and Raghavendra Tirtha, 1545. To date, in the Dupi Monastery, there's another 14 Madhva Tirtha sannyasis. As stated, Dupi is situated beside the sea in South Kannada, about 36 miles from north of Mangalore. Most of the information in this purport is available from South Kannada Manual and the Bombay Gazette. Okay. All we're going to run this So this is history of him. I think he was a demigod, the wind god or Vayu. I don't know for sure. Vayu, yeah. Yeah, so he was able to do all these feats and stuff, and as described here, is obviously, I was just reading it from, of course, Madhavendra Puri. Things changed in a big way because Prabhupada was just saying that from him, from the time he addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, that changed the game for us in our sampradaya, because at that point, this idea that Krishna is worshipped with Radharani was included. So we're going to continue reading. That was very long and technical stuff. 246. While at a Dupi monastery, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw dancing Gopal, a most beautiful deity. This deity appeared to Madhvacharya in a dream. Madhvacharya had somehow or other acquired the deity of Krishna from a heap of Gopal Chandra that had been transported in a boat. So Prabhupada just basically we're going to probably tell a lot of this story again here. Madhvacharya brought this deity, Gopal, to Udupi and installed him in the temple. To date, the followers of Madhvacharya, known as Tattvavadis, worship the deities. And we're going to get to this story about Tattvavadis. That's really one of the main things that's being pointed out here. There's a difference between Tattvavadis, and then there's Mayavadis, and there's Vaishnavas. Of course, Tattvavadis are Vaishnavas. They believe in Vishnu, but there's an issue with the Brahma Mohan Leela pastime. That was one of the things that distinguished. There's a difference in what. Okay, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received pleasure in seeking the beautiful form and seeing the beautiful form of Gopal. For a long time he danced and chanted in ecstasy. When the Tattvavadi Vaishnavas first saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they considered him a Mayavad sannyas. Therefore, they did not talk to him. They're kind of opposite. When Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi, the Mayavadis, they really liked Lord Chaitanya because they kind of kept a distance, but they're always kind of, publicly they don't want to, in front of their friends, they don't want to externally say that, I like this sannyasi, but internally they were all like, this is a very nice person. They were always, can we see him? Because they all hear everything about him. And so there's a story where they longed to see Lord Chaitanya. Eventually he came to a house. He was invited to have lunch. And so then it's the whole story of Prakrasananda. But there was another time when he would not reveal himself to the sannyasis. So it was during Chandramas. And there's a time, of course, I don't think some of these ritualistic things we don't follow, but you don't shave and you don't during this 4-month period. But there's a particular time in this, there's one opportunity wherever the stars and whatever, make sure things aren't in retrograde, whatever, all that. I don't understand any of it, but whatever it is, there's an opportunity that you can actually go shave up. So these Mayavadis were thinking, okay, we're going to be able to see Lord Chaitanya. And they're thinking, oh, we're going to go shave up at this time, and we're going to be able to see, of course, they weren't calling him Lord Chaitanya. Of course, in a sense they were, because Mayavadis think they're all Narayan. So they all address each other as Narayan. So we're going to see Narayan, this special person. But Lord Chaitanya tricked them and left and went someplace, and they deprived them. That was for their Mayavad conception, because they don't want to see the Lord. Later he gave them mercy. Okay, so when the Tattvavadi Vaishnavas first saw Mahaprabhu, they considered him a Mayavad sannyasi. Therefore they did not talk to him. Later, after seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in ecstatic love, they were struck with wonder. Then, considering him a Vaishnav, they gave him a nice reception. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that Tattvavadis were very proud of their Vaishnavism. He therefore smiled and began to speak to them. Considering them very proud, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his discussion. The chief acharya of the Tattvavadi community was very learned in the revealed scriptures. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu humbly questioned him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I do not know very well the aim of life and how to achieve it. Please tell me of the best idea for humanity and how to obtain it. The Acharya replied, when the activities of the 4 castes and the 4 ashrams are dedicated to Krishna, they constitute the best means whereby one can attain the highest goal of life. Excuse me. When one dedicates the duties of varnashram dharma to Krishna, he is eligible for 5 kinds of liberation. Thus he is transferred to the spiritual world in Vaikuntha. This is the highest goal of life and the verdict of all revealed scriptures. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, according to the verdict of the Shastras, the process of hearing and chanting is the best means to attain loving service to Krishna. Purport. According to the Tattvavadis, the best process for achieving the highest goal of life is to execute the duties of the 4 varnas and ashrams in the material world unless one is situated in one of the varnas, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra. One cannot manage social affairs properly to attain the ultimate goal. One also has to follow the principles of ashrams, brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Since these principles are considered essential for the attainment of the highest goal, in this way Tattvavadis established that the execution of principles of varnas and ashrams for the sake of Krishna is the best way to attain the topmost goal. The Tattvavadis thus established their principles in terms of human society. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, differed when he said that the best process is hearing and chanting about Lord Vishnu. According to the Tattvavadis, the highest goal is returning home, back to Godhead. But in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's opinion, the highest goal is attaining love of God in either the material world or the spiritual world. In the material world, this is practiced according to Shastric injunction, and in the spiritual world, the real achievement is already there. So that's kind of, and let me just read that again, that last sentence. Oh, that's a pretty long sentence. According to the Tattvadis, the highest goal is returning home back to Godhead. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's opinion, the highest goal is attaining the level of Godhead in either the spiritual world or in the material world. So it's like, if you don't attain it here, you'll get it in Vaikuntha. In the material world, this is practiced according to Shastric injunction. In the spiritual world, the real achievement is already there. So it's attained when one attains it. When one gets that form of the Lord, comes with it. Yeah, so this is a pretty good discussion. Okay, so 260. This process entails hearing, chanting, and remembering the holy name, form, pastimes, qualities, and entourage of the Lord. Offering service according to time, place, and performer. Worshiping the deity, offering prayers, always considering oneself the eternal servant of Krishna, making friends with him, and dedicating everything unto him. These 9 items of devotional service, when directly offered to Krishna, constitute the highest attainment of life. This is the verdict of revealed scriptures. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 5, text 23 and 24. I like that. She's showing how personal it is that offering service according to time and place and performer. So it's just, each body has a little bit flavor. There's all these flavors in this room. Mm-hmm. Slightly different, but also similar. When one comes to the platform of loving service to Lord Krishna by executing these 9 processes, beginning with hearing and chanting, he has attained the 5th platform of success and the limit of life's goal. The Maha Mantra is like Chintamani. It'll bestow upon the chanter what that chanter desires. Whether you want to go to Vaikuntha, Dwarka, anywhere in there, if you want to go to Krishna Loka, be with Krishna, that Maha Mantra is able to grant that wish. If you want material desires, Krishna will fulfill material desires. Of course, we consider that an offense. We don't want to chant mantra for these things. But that's how potent the mantra is. Purport. Everyone is after success in religion, economic development, sense gratification, and ultimately merging into the existence of Brahman. These are the general practices of common men. But according to the strict scriptures of the Vedas, the highest attainment is to rise to the platform of Shravanam Kirtanam. Srimad Bhagavatam 5, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 23. Hearing and chanting about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2, completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavat Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully in heart, or are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Sri Vyasadeva, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is need for any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. This verse of Srimad Bhagavatam rejects as cheating process all religious activities that aim at achieving materialistic goals, including dharma, artha, kama, and even moksha or liberation. According to Sridhar Swami, the material conception of success, moksha, or liberation, is desired by those in the material existence. Devotees, however, not being situated in material existence, have no desire for liberation. A devotee is always liberated in all stages of life because he is always engaged in the 9 items of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy holds that devotional service to Krishna all exists in everyone's heart. It is simply has to be awakened by the process of Shravanam, Kirtan, Vishnu. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23. Shravanandi Sudha Chite Karaya Udaya Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Chapter 22, text 107. When a person is actually engaged in devotional service, his eternal relationship with the Lord, the servant-master relationship, is awakened. So back up here, it's kind of interesting. This is something, there's a quote I heard. By this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established in the heart. There's a verse, I don't know who quoted the verse, but there's a quote that said that words are impregnated by the culture that they're from. I don't know who to attribute that quote to. It's pretty interesting, but it's basically what's said here. And it kind of goes along with what Prabhupada we mentioned in class the other day, that if one could read Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengali, they would have they would feel greater ecstasy. And so you see, and it kind of holds true. I wish I knew who said that, but to me it just makes sense, especially just reading this right here, what Prabhupada is saying about this and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I mean, for a mundane person like me, it's relishable to an extent. I have no idea the ecstasy that could possibly be when one is really advanced in Krishna consciousness. It's really, it's got to be pretty amazing. 262. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants like a madman, not caring for outsiders. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, Text 40. So here again, this is Lord Chaitanya. He asked that one simple question, the guy just gave him an answer. Just the Varnashram system, Prabhu. So here, Lord Chaitanya is really breaking it down. In every revealed scripture, there is a condemnation of fruitive activities. It is advised everywhere to give up engagement in fruitive activities. For no one can attain the highest goal of life, love of Godhead, by executing them. Okay, so purport. In the Vedas, there are 3 khandas, or divisions: Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda. The Karma Kanda portion stresses the execution of fruitive activities, but ultimately it is advised that one abandon both Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda, speculative knowledge, and accept only Upasana Kanda, or Bhakti Kanda. One cannot attain love of Godhead by executing Karma Kanda or Jnana Kanda, but by dedicating one's karma, or fruitive activities, to the Supreme Lord. One may be relieved from the polluted mind. And becoming freed from the mental pollution helps elevate one to the spiritual platform. Then, however, one needs to associate with a pure devotee, for only by a pure devotee's association can one become a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. When one comes to the stage of pure devotional service, the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam is very essential. By executing the 9 items of devotional service, beginning with Shravanam, Kirtanam, one is completely purified. Abhyabhilasita sunyam jnana karma yanavritam. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11. Only then is one able to execute Krishna's orders. Only then is one able to execute Krishna's orders in the Bhagavad Gita. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my dear friend. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. In this way, one develops his original constitutional position of rendering loving service to the Lord. One cannot be elevated to the highest platform of devotional service by karma kanda or jnana kanda. Pure devotional service can be understood by attained only through the association of pure devotees. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that there are two types of karma kanda activities, pious and impious. Pious activities are certainly better than impious activities, but even pious activities cannot bring about the ecstatic love of God, Krishna. Pious and impious activities can bring about material happiness and distress, but there's no possibility of becoming a pure devotee simply by acting piously or impiously. Bhakti, devotional service, means satisfying Krishna. In every revealed scripture, whether stressing jnana kanda or karma kanda, the principle of renunciation is always praised. The ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge, Srimad Bhagavatam, is the supreme evidence. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.12, it is stated, knowledge of self-realization, even though freed from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of a conception of the infallible God. What then is the use of fruitive activities, which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient by nature? If they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord, this means that even knowledge, which is superior to fruitive activity, is not successful if it is devoid of devotional service. Therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the beginning, middle, and end, karma kanda, jnana kanda are condemned. For example, in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2, it is said, dharma projana kayit vatra. This is explained in the following verses taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 11, Text 32, and Bhagavad Gita 18, Text 66. These will be quoted by Lord Chaitanya. I mean, the Prabhupada makes out this point that even in pious activities in the mode of goodness, still ultimately we have to have the association of a pure devotee. I mean, you get fire. It's like the rod goes into fire, it becomes fire. So that's what we have to, when we get the association of pure devotees, we stick to the process. We become, the ultimate result is we become pure like fire. Any comments anybody want to make? Or we're just about out of time. All right, so I'll read these couple of verses that Lord Chaitanya is quoting. First one is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Occupational duties are described in religious scriptures. If one analyzes them, he can fully understand their qualities and faults, and then give up completely to render service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Give them up completely. A person who does so is considered a first-class man. Sorry about that. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall protect you. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. I guess I'm running out of gas here. I can't speak. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and does not awaken his taste for devotional service by Shravanam Kirtanam, one has to act according to the regulated principles of Vedic junctions. Okay, thank you very much. So this taste is very important. We have to get it somewhere, and we have to keep it going. Rupa Goswami says that wherever you find it in the marketplace, you purchase it immediately. Thank you very much. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham kataksham Bhagavatam samasitam Buddha sundarangam Kandar Agom Vigamaniya Vishesha Shobha
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Andani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Namagam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Mudale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Samaniti Naminaya Namaste Sade, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Sade, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa Paravidagacharya. Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Namacharya Shivavira Saku Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sai Kumrasu Devi Jaito Darpanamarjanam Pavamaravatiyam Jayakairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Manamritaspadanam Sarvadmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bauda Nija Sarvachaktish Tatrapita Niyamata Smaranena Kala Etadrisi Tavakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivami Drishanihan Aninada Raga Trinada Pisani Chena Turoriva Sihishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kabinamba Jagadishikamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Vavatad Bhakti Radhai Takitwaye Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishmayam Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tadapara Pankaja Sita Duli Sadrasam Vachintayam Nayanam Galuda Shrudaraya Vadanam Gadgada Rudaya Gira Hulaka Nichitam Bapukada Tavanamaha Granay Bhavishyati Yugaitam Namishena Chakshusha Pravishaitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Vidahena Me Ashli Shiva Para Parashtumam Darshanam Amritam Karotava Yata Tata Vavadatu Lampato Mat Prananatas Tu Sevana Paraha. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen to the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord. Unconditionally. So we'd like to welcome Drew Mila, who just came back from an NDE. You don't know what an NDE is? A near-death experience. And he actually saw the Vishnu Dutas. No, he didn't see the Yamadutas. He saw the Vishnu Dutas. So we're very happy to have